Scott.
Hello.
Muzzy.
Got Muzzy in the house.
Hello.
Introduce me, Bongo.
I'm going to introduce you. So I didn't know Scott Muzzy until last year around probably August time frame when we were getting together at Art Nunez's house for preparation for the Yacht Rock. And Scott and I had a bunch of songs to do together, and got to know him, and I thought he was a cool dude, and I know that he got involved in a lot of projects, and I said, you know what, I'm going to reach out to this dude and get him on. And so here we
are.
Are you sure it really wasn't the washboards, Mike?
It was the washboards. Totally the wash. We're going to talk about the washboards. We are not done with those. So, but welcome to the show, Scott. We're
Thank you.
Happy to have you on. And, you know, I know that Pete, right before you came on, said, what else does Scott Muzzy do? And I said, we are going to dig into the projects that you did and what you're working on now, and we're going to talk washboards. We're on the washboard stuff. So
they're 5 feet away from me, so
cool. I love it. So let's why don't you start? You know, Scott, start us off here, and just tell us, you know, a little bit of background about yourself, when you started playing drums, all that other stuff.
Well, you know, I started out basically in a formal setting because I started out in a school band when I was 4 years old. Ironically, though, I came from a family, we had a cornet, so it was already assumed I was going to play cornet. So we went there and, you know, had the cornet and everything. In my mind, I wanted to play drums. I always wanted to play drums. But so we got there, and anyways, you know, they said play a few notes, and I did. And I guess, okay, my mother's English, I inherited her teeth, so I couldn't play. And they basically said, hey, if he's got any chance of playing any kind of music, it's the drums. And I was just like, don't blow it, don't act too excited. And, you know, I guess the rest is from there. But I also do remember after that 3-month period you got as a kid, you know, whether you want to continue or whether you want to just, you know, drop it. I remember being asked that by my father, do you want to continue? And everything in me said, no, I don't want to continue. But this little voice back there somewhere said, continue, it'll be worth it. And it has been. Although I'll have to be honest, I played up until freshman year. I was in parades. I even played in orchestral. You know, I know how to read music technically, but not playing a drum kit. I was 11 or so. My mother bought me a drum set. I taught everything myself on it. I started learning, I believe, with like Steve Miller, Best Of, and you know, I played with some people. And when I first started getting people dancing, I loved it. I was hooked. But then it kind of fell to the wayside because it's work and everything else. But then I think it was freshman or sophomore year, I found this band called Rush and this drummer called Neil Peart. And ever since I heard him, I was just like, I want to do that. So
you look like Neil Peart. You know that.
Actually, I've heard a couple people say that, yeah. But no, I look like me. Maybe, yeah, well, he's older, so.
If you didn't have that cap on, maybe.
You know, if
well, it's funny because
if Wolfie ever backs down, you'd be a great replacement.
Actually, I tend to stay away from playing Rush songs right now.
Okay, all right. Fair enough,
it's just so much onus on having it perfect. I don't know. To me, it's like, okay, I don't want to do that.
Well, now we've got an overload of drummers because Rosie just joined us. What's up, Rhodes?
Yeah. I know, guys. Happy Memorial Day.
Thank you.
Happy Memorial Day.
Good to have you, Rosie. Miss you, buddy.
You guys.
Smooches.
Smooches to you. Smooches to you all.
By the way, I think this month was we had almost all drummers on, right? We had Dan Milligan, we had Jim Palucci.
Yeah.
So I mean, we had like Scott Muzzy. You're like the final one in our May month of drummers guests.
May is drummer month.
Drummer month.
Okay, cool. I'm not going to complain.
And I'm like a novice bass player, so I can feel the dirty looks from all of you. You know that look, Rhodesy.
I know that look well, all too well. Actually, you know what? I played with Melon Cougar over on Friday, and I absolutely love Kenji Jaravic. I mean, he is just such a happy guy, and I love playing with him. Even when you make a mistake or the band is just off the rails, we're just sitting there looking at each other laughing. I really, truly love playing with him. He is by far probably one of my favorite bass players.
Yeah, that was a fun time on Friday night. I was telling Pete before Scott and you joined that like yesterday when I got home from the Belmont Sheffield Fest, I took
Yeah.
a shower and I fell on the couch. I was having a hard time moving. I took some leaves and
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
a little too much in the weekend, the three
Yeah,
gigs,
you had a triple header, so
triple header, yeah.
yeah.
But
How do you,
Friday was fun. That was the kickoff to it, So it was
Yeah, I'm glad you
good to
came.
play. What's that?
I'm glad that you came. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, I mean, I never got to play with Mel and Cougar before, so it was a real treat to be able to play those tunes. What if I came knocking and I ain't running anymore? Those are just some really cool tunes that have a nice little percussion thing to them. So
It was nice. I didn't have to overplay on I'm not running anymore. It was nice. Like I'm just gonna sit back and just relax.
Yeah, well, good. Well, back to Scott. Scott, we got to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
into the bands. So, what was your first band? When was that?
Actually, I think my first band with a bunch. Well, I grew up in Lombard, and I was fortunate enough. We had a lot of musicians, kid musicians, and so there was always somebody to jam with all the time. I mean, when I got my drum set, I first started jamming. I mean, we was always in somebody's basement, my basement, or somebody else is bringing it over. So got to jam with a lot of people. But the first time I got to jam in front of people, I remember. I mean, like as on a stage, was in the basement of a church, doing. I think it was like a Parents Without Partners. And like I said, that's when I first started playing my drums. We sucked. I mean, complete novices, but I could carry a beat. I was hoping because they were dancing, and I'm just like, hey, this is cool. So, like I said, that struck me. But then after that, I started hooking up with some guys from high school, two brothers. And basically every Saturday we just played, and then in their garage, I remember practicing. And their father was a furniture refinisher, and so we get stoned in there all the time. Not the stoned you thought, just because of the fumes of all the chemicals in there and everything.
Yeah.
But anyways, we named it Black Knight. We played out a few times, nothing like some parties here and there, that type of thing. And then I didn't really do much. Kind of kept in touch with them. They kind of started forming a band that was gigging. I graduated high school, and they kind of contacted me, and they said, hey, would you like to be our drummer? We want to replace him for this band, but you have to get a drum set. Because the drum set I had was a little rinky-dink one and everything else, my original drum set. So I went out and bought an 11-piece Tama Imperial Star, because this was the 80s and it was heavy metal. So, and then I joined that band. It was called Headstone. And yeah, what did they do? They I think it was, they gave me a phone call like, hey, you ready to go? Yeah. Okay, well, you're in the band now. Here's our set list in 3 nights. We're going to play out at the Thirsty Whale. We're backing up Paradox. So learn the set list. So it was
Paradox.
sink or swim. Yeah, I knew some songs, but I'm a kind of a fast learner. So, yeah, and I was with them for a couple of years. Enjoyed it. Didn't make a lot of money back then. Mainly just did it because I loved it. And then, well, what did I do? Let's see. I got my girlfriend pregnant, and so I decided to do the right thing and decided to, get married and all that stuff. So then I left music for like 28 years. Didn't really.
What did your
touch my
wife say
drums.
about it?
Well, she wanted me to actually continue on, but I think, I was trying to be the responsible person and everything else.
It was
one
a
thing
sad attempt at humor. I'm sorry.
No. Don't get me wrong. She's an ex now. But anyways, the one thing she did do good though, she would not let me sell my drum set. So she, I give her credit for that. Also, a couple of great kids too. But anyways, yeah. But then for 28 years, I just kind of had kids, raised kids, and about 10 years ago, I kind of just got back into it. An old friend of mine that I used to jam with in high school said, "Hey, come over on Friday, make some noise." His wife was gone. He had a kit in the basement, all the instruments, and we just started jamming again, and added a few more. And actually, one band I have kind of consistently played with, although we're not technically a band like on your guys' level, we're called Oaf. old as fuck. I can say that, right? Anyway, and we're all a bunch. I mean, I'm 61. I'm not the youngest yet, or actually, I'm not the youngest, but we got 70-year-olds in the band. Everybody's played in bands on the circuit over the years. They're sick of it. They don't want to play anymore. I still like playing out. So, but I love playing with these guys. They're old friends. So we play open mics occasionally, things like that. If there's a charity event, we'll play that kind of thing. So, but I've been playing with them for like the past 10 years. And then 3 years ago, I met a wonderful woman, Laura Wallenberg, my girlfriend, and you guys probably heard of her. And, she's got me back into this music business, and none of this would be possible without her. So right now, I would love to get into a band if I could. It'd have to be the right kind of band for me, though, obviously. But I'm open right now. I'm doing a lot of open jams, Andrew Blake's open jams. I'm hoping to do another coterie again. I love this thing because this type of thing because you get to play with great musicians like you guys. You get to play great music. You get stage time. You get improvisational skills. I mean, because you got to improvise, especially with the open jams where you just wing it. Yeah. So I love it, and I play by feel, so I can wing things easily. Because if I feel something, I can play it. So,
Scott, how did you said you got back into it 10 years ago, and there was that lull. Like,
yeah,
what was it like when you first got back in? Because I mean, butterflies. Did I remember this right? Like, or was it just like riding a bike? What was that?
Yes and no. I actually got in, I'm not going to mention names or anything, but I was actually with a band. We did play out one time at Dirty Nelly's. And that was a lot of demons for me because that was like the first time in 33 years I'd been on a stage. So it was something I built up in my mind. Yeah. But I killed all those demons now. And yes, I was kind of a wreck before that, going, oh my God. And after that, now I just like, I love going up on stage.
How did you get through it? Like help somebody else out that says, you know what, I want to get back into it, and boom, what did you do?
Do it. Just do
it.
Yeah. I mean, right now, like I said, I'm 61. I'm hoping to retire sometime soon. I'm slowing down and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I practice every day. It makes me happy. I mean, drums really is a huge part of my life. And it amazes me that I left it for like 28 years, but I got 4 great kids out of the deal. So I got something for that time, but
Scott, yeah, you brought up something old school that I'd love to hear Rhodes and Bongo on. Good old River Grove's Thirsty Whale. You got any stories about that place of going in there? What was it like? How were the bathrooms?
I remember the changing room, green room. You just got to write your name. It was covered in names. I remember that, and I think it was like this wide or something like that. Like I said, I played there first time, 3 days in the band, something like that. Yeah. I had an 11-piece drum set. I have, even my drums today, I have everything marked. I can pretty much tear down and break, and set it up fast as possible. 11-piece, I had it down in 10 minutes. I could break it down or set it. I mean, all the way from fully set up in cases. 10 minutes. And the stage manager would yell at me, get it off the stage. I'm like, if you leave me alone, it will be off before you can blink, but leave me alone. I remember one time, I think I threatened him to hit him with a stand. And somebody told me his name. I don't remember his name, but but Rosie, they usually left me alone when I went up there because I was just like, leave me alone. I can finish this. I can set it up.
It's an 11-piece drum set.
In 10 minutes. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I had everything fully marked, so I knew, where to put everything and, where to, every little detail I had down. So
and of course, the lead singer helped you out. Unloading.
The singer?
The singer helped you load and unload, yeah.
No. I think we even had to bring his mic. So anyways. Actually, it was me and the bass player. We were the roadies. I had a van. He had a van.
Old school Thirsty Whale. Did you guys ever go there? Just curious, because it pops up. I was in there once. I got lost in the south part. Go ahead.
Rhodesy, you go first.
Well, I was going to say I kind of missed it. I was a little bit young for the Thirsty Whale.
Yeah, me too.
It was kind of on the out by the time I got into the scene in, I don't know, mid late 90s.
Yeah, I never played there, but I had gone there. Not a ton. I mean, I'd gone there a few times, like a friend where we had a guy at work who had like a death metal band, and that was awful. And I went there to see that, and I remember they had like 4 bands that night, so it was like each band got like a 40-minute set, and but I saw Blue Oyster Cult there, believe it or not. And that was pretty cool too because they had 2 shows that night. So we were on the early show. I forgot what it was. Like they played like 7 p.m. to like 8:15, and then there was a break, and then they cleared everybody out of the bar, and then there were the people that had the second show. But I didn't spend a ton of time at the Thirsty
Hi, Gail.
Yeah, she just walked by.
Yeah, there she is. Hey.
There we go. The viewership just went up 20%.
No, Pete, to your point, I'm kind of the Barry Waterman days, if you remember Barry.
No, who's Barry Waterman?
Oh, he did all the booking back in the day for like the Riv and all those places in downtown Chicago. Had like all these, like Mike just said, you would have like 6 bands playing all in one day. Everybody got a 40-minute set, get the hell off the stage. The Riv, the Double Door, the Aragon, all of that stuff.
Barry Waterman. Like Jeff Quatnitz's Q Productions. I forgot the guy. They were together at the firm. Oh my goodness. Future Pete.
The 90s, like I said, the 90s are kind of a blur.
Yeah, and Thirsty Whale closed. I mean, how many years?
Yeah, it was in the early 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, I know there would be bands that I wanted to see there, and I just, I didn't go there that much. I mean, I probably I could count on probably one hand how many times I'd gone there to see bands, and Blue Oyster Cult was the only big one. Any other time I went there, it was some 3 or 4 band, night, and I watched whoever the band I went to go see. I watched them, and then I took off. So,
yeah, I never had seen a band there. I played there probably a dozen times, and weirdly enough, it was always backing up Paradox, I think. So,
I was gonna say they were like every 6 weeks.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. It was fun there, but again, I was like 18, so I was like 18 getting into bars, but I wouldn't drink because if I had 2 beers, I wouldn't play drums. So.
Yeah,
I remember the stage wasn't very big.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's why we were saying about an 11-piece drum set. I'm thinking, where was the rest of the band?
But back, okay, I played there in 83, 84, 85, 86. That's when I left the band. So it's like, back then, huge drum sets were the thing. So, now it's 4-piece kits, And I don't mind a 4-piece kit now. I mean, I'm using a 6-piece now, but,
It's so I can get off the stage in 10 minutes, Scott.
I'm sorry?
It's so I can get off the stage in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I had it down in 10 minutes. I did. Could you guys get a 4-piece down in 10 minutes?
Depends on how fast I move.
I don't know.
Wait, what was that? Pete, would you like to have another flashback? Okay, I will. So you guys can all look this up. Peter Katzis used to manage the Riviera. He hooked up with Jeff Quatnitz at Q Productions. They got together and they went to LA and they created the firm and they managed, they were big. I mean, the Backstreet Boys, all the big acts. I'm not sure what happened and they're not doing it, but all started when the early 90s Chicago scene became big. They were some of the ones that came out of it and went national. Michael Yerke, who we've had. Hey, Gail.
Okay.
Love it. I love it. We had Michael Yerke from Live Nation on the show. We should get him back. And he was all part of that little scene that moved up there because you all wanted to hear Pete's flashback. Future Pete, decide whether to keep that in or out. All right, Scott, back to you. You're the guest now. REO, do you like the music or that was just the gig? How did that go down?
Yeah. What context? What do you mean by REO?
Well, I had mentioned that you were talking about starting an REO tribute.
Oh yeah. That was a project that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We had a guitar player that would be perfect for it. We were trying to get singers. That's the biggest thing. We had a couple lined up and then, do auditions, have everything lined up, and then somebody pulls out at the last minute or something happens or it took too long for auditions, so people probably got frustrated. So anyways, The guitar player ultimately withdrew from it, so we basically just have right now bass player and drummer available, for it. So that one's being put on the back burner. We're going to reevaluate that, see what we want to do. REO, weirdly enough, growing up, I loved early REO. I mean, I grew up in the 70s, so, sorry, a little older than you guys. I love the early stuff. I didn't like the 80s. I hated that stuff. I despised it. Now, though, playing this, I mean, I've been playing a lot of REO. I love it. I love Alan Gretzer's a great drummer, so I just love groove drummers. I love ones that got feel and everything else to it. That's borderline jazz. I love that. So
yeah, Champaign, Illinois, right?
Yeah.
How did they come out? How did they? I mean, I liked REO back in the day. You can't tune the fish. I get it, but I just don't remember the scene back then because you said the 70s. I can't imagine how they came up and how that.
Well, they're more or less a live band. That's how they kind of like Cheap Trick. It's more or less just gigging, and that's how they got earn their dues that way. I think. And then they had a couple of great songs, but that helps.
I always think that what happened.
I would actually say it's like Kiss, because Kiss had some albums, and then they put out that live album. And everything just exploded for them. And it's the same thing with REO. They had that, and then they came out with that live album that had Riding the Storm out on it, 157, and so on and so on. And that live album just kicked ass. And that was like 76 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a big one. And Scott, true to form, I think what ended up happening with a lot of these bands, I mean, go listen to early Journey. I mean, I'm talking about the Greg Rowley, Michael Sherry, the early stuff was very progressive before Steve Perry joined. And when Steve Perry came in, it changed the sound, and they became obviously a lot more pop, and with REO, you're right, because that early stuff I think it's fantastic. I mean, that I was a bigger fan of the early stuff, but the big hits came when the ballads came, Keep on Loving You.
His name is still playing around here.
Rich Rath,
yeah,
but it's not Gary Richrath. It's the singer, I think the original singer from REO, isn't it, Scott? Do you know that? I mean,
I don't know exactly how it goes, but yeah, the guitar player we had, he used to play with him, so that's why it would have been perfect for him to play, but I guess he doesn't want to play REO anymore. Can't say blame him if you play it too much, I guess. Hey, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, good stuff, man. I mean, I think, we always talk about when there's people are going to start, a tribute band and trying to find that niche where, it's not already covered, right? It's not a Journey tribute band or something that's already out there. And there isn't an REO, tribute band. I guess Rich Rath would be the closest thing. And he's got some lineage connection to the actual band. But I'm just saying in general, if you could find a guy that could sing like Kevin Cronin, and Jesus, that guy can still hit the notes. I mean, last couple of times I'd seen him, he's got to be in his late 70s, right? I mean, he's not a young cat.
He's got to maybe be older than that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I saw him a couple of years ago. Yes, he still puts on a really good show.
Yeah.
And actually, ironically, it's the first time I ever saw REO. So,
really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you missed out.
So playing REO on the Spectrum scale of 1 to 10, is that I've never played any of the songs. I'm looking for feedback from anybody because right now you're looking for people. Is the singing harder for it? Is the guitar playing? Is it like, could you rate the difficulty? Because you're looking for people. I don't know how hard it is to learn and pick up, but I do love the tunes.
Something outside my pay grade because I'm a drummer. Okay, but because I say that because again, I got trained professionally. I learned how to play chimes and bells and timpani and all that kind of stuff. But I understand notes, but I don't know if I have a complete. I know I don't have perfect pitch, so I'm off on a lot of that stuff. And I don't understand a lot of things in music when you guys talk about, like what you guys talk about with guitars and everything else and basses and the notes and all that stuff, because I just understand rhythms. But I understand all the concepts. I just don't know the names for it. I get the concepts of things. So what you're asking, though, is the singer from my understanding anyways, it's more or less he's got to kind of sound like Kevin, and that's the hard part because he's got to be powerful enough to sound like him and hit those notes, which, you know, like the notes, I just know they're high, I think. Again, I'm not a singer, so.
Rhodes, do you have a critique on REO?
You know, I would have to say that, you know, REO is kind of one of those underestimated bands. It's kind of like it sounds easy, but actually when you go into it and you start picking apart the layers of the REO Speedwagon set list, it's you know, some really good musicians in those bands. It just like Kansas and all of that. I mean, it doesn't sound real hard until you sit down with it and go, what the hell?
I think the Gary Richrath guitar playing is what I think separates when you listen to what he's doing. I think that's pretty complex.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I would agree.
You know, I mean,
what's your
and the guy they had that replaced him, I think, is Dave Amato, who's been the touring guy with them for, I think that's probably who you saw, Scott. That's why I'm pretty sure that's his name. Dave Amato was fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think you're right.
Yeah, he was really good. I mean, but you know, because Gary Richrath hadn't played with them for years. I mean, they were just touring with. It was the drummer Alan Gratzer, the keyboard guy Kevin Cronin, and I think even Bruce Hall might have still been with them for a while. So it was the four original guys and then Dave Amato. Now it's probably changed. The drummer was different. Last time I saw him, the drummer that they had was. He was fantastic, that guy. I forgot what his name was. And he
Brian he's been playing with them for like 20 years, I think so.
Yeah, he's been in there a while. Matter of fact, the last time I saw him, I think they were touring on the High Infidelity album. So they were playing the album in its entirety. And I saw it at Naperville Rib Fest, and I saw it at Wisconsin. I saw a twofer on that within like a month. And that drummer was fantastic. I forgot his name, but I know he's really, really talented. So
Scott, I should have asked a better question. What's your favorite REO song to play?
No, I can think of the song and I can't think of the title. Oh my God.
Chris Rhodes.
Don't let him go. Don't let him go.
Don't let him go.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
Don't let him go.
Take it easy, take it slow.
Yeah. I'm 157 Riverside Avenue all the way, baby. I just cannot get enough of that song. The live version on that album, I can listen to that 100,000 times over and over and over again.
Actually, mine is a very obscure one called "I Believe Our Time Is Gonna Come," which is a really cool tune because it's got a killer guitar riff. And it's got this breakdown with this, like, the keyboard guy's doing this, like, string thing as it builds back up to the end. And, of course, Son of a Poor Man. You got to like Son of a Poor Man.
Is it the first album? Is that the On the Road Again album?
Oh, man, I'm not sure.
Again.
Yeah, it might be. That could be on there, yeah. It's all that early stuff. Son of a Poor Man. I Believe Our Time Is Gonna Come, you know. Music, was it Music Man?
Red, White, and Blue. Actually, I would have to go, what is it? Red, White, and Blue. Sweet Madam Blue.
Well, Sweet Madam Blue is Styx.
Oh, that's Styx.
Yeah.
REO Speedwagon.
You've migrated to another similar band.
Another good drummer.
It's all the same shit. I'm a drummer, exactly. I don't know what I'm playing.
Good question, though, Pete. I like it. Good question.
Well, that's what I'm here for. To talk over guests.
Well, now, what I want to know is because Scott and I have had this thing going back and forth about the washboard, and I want to know what Scott's doing with the washboard because there's just not a lot of us out there.
Well, I was at an antique store and I was like, you know, there's something here I need to be looking for. Washboard. So yeah, I found one. So, and then that's also when I found there's like 15 different varieties of them. There's glass ones, there's little ones, there's big ones, there's rusted ones, there's perfect. I mean, you know, anyways, but, I've always tapped on things. I mean, I used to get yelled at it as a kid, you know, always tapping on things, always banging on things. And half the time it's just like, what does this sound like? You know, that's what I'm doing. But, so it's just the fact of, I like playing percussion instruments. I mean, one day I would love to have every percussion instrument I could, fill this room up. But anyways, and it's just, you know, and then when I got it, I was looking at a couple of YouTube videos of actually how to play it. And when I found out, it's just, you know, rubbing and tapping.
Yeah, tap and scratch.
For me.
Yeah, tap and scratch. So now did you, because, you know, I have those gloves. Now, are you
I
using just thimbles? Are you using
Well,
spoons?
I got these little rubber things for my fingertips, and then I put the thimbles on there, and so far they seem to be holding. But on my thumb, I got one of the other kind of thimble that wraps around.
Yep.
Yeah, and then so yeah, and they seem to be working so far, but I haven't practiced it all that much. It's it kind of sits in the corner a lot, and I got hand drums here I pick up every once in a while too that I'll start playing. So it's kind of fallen into that same category. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's a lot of fun to play. It's also I need to put a strap on it too and all that kind of stuff. I've been
yeah.
looking at all that variety of things.
Yeah, I when I first started playing it, I was determining whether I was going to use like spoons or like a bottle opener. The different people use different things.
Right.
And so I was using thimbles, but I didn't have a glove. I would just pop the thimbles onto my fingers. And as I would play, the thimbles would be flying off during the song, right? So people would come up after the song, they give me the thimble back. I said, this is fucking bad, right? This is this is a real problem because the faster I go, the more they're going to fly off. I can't tap to keep it on my finger. So then I was I think I was in Oregon. I saw this girl, because I didn't come up with the idea. I'd like to say I did, but I didn't. There was a girl playing washboard, and she had gloves, and that got me thinking. And I said, if I go get a set of gloves, like work gloves, something that fits your hand tight, so I need to have to be on there tight. Then I can epoxy glue those on, and now they're not going to
Yeah.
fall off. And ever
Right.
since I've done that, it made my job much easier. Then if they start getting loose while in the middle of a tap and scratch moment, they don't fly off. And it keeps it on there and it allows me to go faster, and it's been good. So I don't know. I know that you're saying you're using a rubber glove, but it doesn't sound like you glued those
No,
on.
they're actually just like rubber tips that you put on the
Oh,
tip of your finger, and
I
so far
gotcha.
they're holding on. So,
Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
Like
So
when
it's
you're
like a
sewing.
condom for your finger.
well, kind of, little finger condoms. Although that's actually something else. So they're not. That's actually something else because I used to work in restaurants. They actually make those things for your fingers. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, I think what they're for is like like when they used to count money, you'd put it on your
Yep.
finger, that type of thing. So it's
Yep.
kind of like I guess like a rubber thimble almost.
Yeah.
But so far they're working. But again, I don't play it to the extent of you do, and the speeds and everything. I'm just messing with it so far. Right now, I may have to go to the glove too. I don't know.
All
It's
right.
it's really easy to do too. I mean, I'm telling you, I think you and I have communicated about that,
Right.
so I know that, but it's like one of those things that when you do it, you'll see the difference. Again, that rubber thing, if it's working, great. For me, I wasn't doing anything. I was just putting them on my fingers right before the song. Of course, then I had to put one on each finger, and then somebody's
Right.
got to say something compelling while I'm doing that, before I get it all set to go.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah,
So let's
see,
get
the problem I have though is my right hand here. You probably can't see, but I got a scar on it. I feel like I'm wearing a glove anyways. When I was 17, actually, weirdly enough, I was playing drums at night, and my mother she had gone away. Anyways, playing drums, I had my headphones on. I stood up, my stool fell down. I didn't hear it. So I went to go sit back down, and as I sat down, without a stool, you fell all the way to the ground. And unfortunately, there was a drinking glass underneath me. So
oh
that scar, I fell on a drinking glass and slipped my wrist all the way to the bone, cut
Oh.
my 5 tendons, branch artery, carpal nerve, everything. So, yeah, probably the worst thing a drummer could happen to it. So, anyways, long story short, I had to go through therapy, everything else, and I have not much feeling in this hand. But drum playing for therapy to get it back, they said that was
Yeah.
the best thing in the world. So this hand's
Wow.
still actually faster than this hand. The
you
only issue I have now with it, like I said, I feel like I'm always wearing a glove, so I try to avoid wearing gloves whenever possible, unless I have
Yeah.
to, like when it's cold. Um, but I'll drop sticks. That's like the only issue. So since they got those grippy sticks, they get
Yeah.
grippier with the sweat. I use those now, and I don't drop them that much anymore. Other than that, I'm fine.
let's get really nerdy now, you two drummers and percussionists. What are the top washboard bands out there, or bands that had washboards in there? I just have flashbacks of Buckwheat Zydeco. Are
Buckwheat,
there
yeah,
any
buckwheat zydeco. That's what they call a rub board. So there's
a
washboards.
frottoir or something? Fortour? Fortour?
Well, it's a rub board, and
Okay.
the difference between a rub board and a washboard is a rub board will be a piece of metal with the grates already on it, and they put it on their shoulders, so it's harnessed on your shoulder. That's almost exclusively I've seen those played with like a bottle opener or maybe a spoon or something metal. I
Wait,
don't
hold
know how
on.
many.
Frottoir. I just looked it up. Frottoir is what it's called.
Okay, it's not called a rub board.
That's what she
I'm
said.
not. I'm
I think
being
that's what it
honest, it's a rub
translates
board.
to.
That'll make a clip. Continue.
Continue. So, and then there's washboards. Washboard is what, washboards were used to wash clothes. That's what the grate is there for. So, I don't know. I mean, but buckwheat zydeco, because it's zydeco music, that's always going to have a washboard or a rub board or a frottoir, whatever the fuck you called it. And I got to tell you, if you're thinking about like the most famous, like I don't think there's a ton of them out there, but I can tell you, Black Oak, Arkansas had a song called Scott. You know what I'm talking about? I saw
No,
you
but
shake.
I know. Well, I just know Black Oak, Arkansas because of Tommy Aldridge. But yeah,
Yeah. So Black Oak, Arkansas had a song like I think it's called "When the Electricity Went Out" or something like that. And it's a washboard song. So I don't know. Rhodes,
Yeah,
you got any comment on washboards?
I always just go back to, that's your Creole, Louisiana to me.
Yeah. What does that
That's
seem
what I always
like in New Orleans? I haven't been down there.
You've never been to New Orleans?
Never been.
you got to go.
Where
Great
do
city.
I go? Chicago podcast, I know, but we're talking buckwheat zydeco. We go down there. It's a different scene. I just think like Kingston Mines with just even more humidity.
All
A few others, probably more things too. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
tell me, man.
it's a great city. I mean, for food, obviously for music. I mean, I've only really
a little
gone.
Nashville to it, right? I mean, it's
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a city that there's obviously it's a city that never sleeps, right? That's the whole thing. There's a lot of parades, right? They throw a parade for anything. Somebody dies, they throw a parade. Somebody has a kid, they throw a parade.
Yeah.
But great
music
food.
is everything.
Music is everything there. And yeah, you do get a lot of zydeco. Actually, zydeco, I think, is more indicative to like Shreveport and like in more of the swamp areas than it really is in New Orleans. That's what I've been told. I mean, from people that live there.
Hear about that, but I would agree with you, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have a lot of money, so you got to use what I'm sure that's what they did, right? You put together and make music, and it's the tool. It's
Yeah.
what
Buckets. You could use buckets.
Yeah.
A lot of people playing buckets out there.
Soldier Field in the tunnel.
Soldier Field. Yeah, you bear down, man. You got to walk through that tunnel, and those guys are going to be banging on buckets. You know what I'm talking about?
Just saying. Just saying. Those buckets, there's a lot. Those guys are pretty damn talented. You can do a lot of cool stuff with a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket, huh?
Yeah.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
But they use buckets. They'll have like a little hi-hat there. They'll use pots and pans. I mean, they'll use whatever they can to give them a different sound, like what Scott was doing. I mean, Scott's pounding on everything, right? So he's banging on. I could see, like, I know I got in trouble, so I think Scott's going to agree with me. In high school, in grammar school, always pounding on the desk, right? And the teacher would have to like look at me and say, "Shut up." Stop pounding on the desk. So I think Scott had probably the same problem.
Well, yeah, actually, I had it worse. My mother would always be like, smack in the head, cut it out.
Yeah.
So,
Rhodes, are you pounding on the desk?
Oh, did we all?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I actually, worked on my double bass. Spent a career playing double bass in my school seat. Just chicka.
Was that your flock of seagull days?
No, that was more of my metal church days. I had discovered Merciful Fate and kind of went to the dark side there in the early mid part of the 80s.
Were you like one of the early Moody kids? What do you call them? The emus or whatever? Did you start?
Emus or emos?
Emu?
What did I say?
Isn't an emu an animal?
Yeah, that's a bird. That's that thing in that Liberty commercial insurance.
Yes, that's
it's a big chicken.
It's an emu. How we got on that?
I don't know.
We're interject a clip of an emu in here somewhere.
He's baiting us for his AI experiment, is what he's doing.
Well, speaking of AI experiments, Scott, we make an album based on what we talk about here. Like, okay, we talked REO Speedwagon, but in general, like, what got you into music? What influenced you? What songs we could make music now? What artist, what song got you going and said, man, I got to bang the sticks?
Like I said, there's probably Rush got me going on it initially, but I mean, backing up even before that, I don't know. It's just a large chunks of people because I remember watching Buddy Rich playing on Johnny Carson's show, and I remember just going, I want to do that. I mean, and I remember the first rock album I ever bought was Van Halen 2 when it came out, and put that on and started playing along to it. I don't know. I just like talent, I guess, talented music. And I say that because I know, from the 70s, I prefer 70s music. 80s up to a point, but then after that, it seems like everything got corporate, and I don't know how much. I mean, yes, there's still talented people out there, but
it's not real music.
Well, it is, but it is.
Every decade says that. But you brought up Buddy Rich, and you guys are the drummers. I'm just the root note Pete bass player. What's the difference? You started with Buddy Rich. Why didn't you start? Because he drummed a different way, right? And then how did that change? What's your version of it, Scott? And I'll ask Rosie next.
Well, he was just probably the fastest drummer. Just the fact that he was extremely fast, very showy, and it was all on him. I mean, I love Buddy Rich for that, but I got to go back one more. Gene Krupa, he's the one that really started it, and that he's my personal drum all-time hero. So, plus also what he did for a drum set and everything else. But no, it's just And then another one I love too is Keith Moon, because he's flashy. He's all over the place. He likes to be the center of attention, which is weird because if you watch me play it, it's like I'm not trying to be the center of attention back there, so I'm not like that. But I like the energy. I like all that to it. I mean, it's high energy music gets me. I don't know. It's hard to explain because I don't like songs that typically are just for tink chink tink chink tink chink. But some of those songs, if it's got a certain groove, got a certain feel, got a certain vibe, they can be fun to play. One thing I've learned over the past 10 years that I've been doing this is, people go, let's learn this song. And, oh, fuck, I don't want to learn that song. I hate that fucking song. But then I start playing it and I'm starting to go, hold it. This song is actually fun to play. Yeah, I still hate the song, but they're fun to play now. So I got my mind. I'll play any song pretty much. Well, there may be one or two that I really won't play, but literally there might be one or two, but other than that, I'll play any song. I just like to play songs, but if I was going to be in a band, my druthers, I would rather play more songs that are probably like hard rock, 70s hard rock, Van Halen. I mean, I love Van Halen, Iron Maiden, Rush, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Love Carl Palmer, one of my favorite drummers. Probably in my opinion, probably one of the best living drummers that I loved, because the other ones all seem to be dead. Neil and Keith, but and Alex, and I got to see all these guys in concert too. So I mean, I'm a drummer person. So, people go, what bands do you like? It's like, well, if they got good drums to it, I'm probably going to like it. So
Rhodesy, you're turning nerd out. Talk to me about Buddy Rich and the hand position. Like, is it faster to do it that way? Or I know some people are listening and they can't see it, but what's the hand positioning?
So, I mean, from a technical standpoint, I mean, that he revolutionized the single stroke roll. I mean, nobody could do. And even to this day, probably there are some now. I mean, kids today, I mean, I watch these kids on YouTube and it's just like, what the hell, man?
Damn kids.
But the single stroke roll, I mean, he did that thing so clean, so tight, so fast. I mean, it didn't even work it. And actually, shame on me, as a drummer. I never really was a big old school jazz band. I kind of came in around the Bonham and the Sabbath and all of that time. And then, it kind of graduated for me. And then when I saw Steve Smith playing with Vital Information, and I saw Dave Weckl and, and Steve Gadd and all of these guys playing, I think I was, maybe 15 or something when I discovered all these guys. So I actually kind of had to circle back around to Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa and some of the old swing, 50s, 60s drummers, or even before that, those guys.
Isn't
you mentioned
I heard that his style of playing though was easier on your wrists, less chance for carpal tunnel based on the way that you're holding this. That's what I was.
Are you talking traditional grip versus match grip?
Yeah.
Because traditional versus match. Because
I got taught traditional growing up. I mean, I did that until I started playing a drum set, and I'm going, no, that's kind of it was weird for me to play a drum set, so that's when I learned how to do match grip.
Yeah,
and now if I go back to traditional, I'm just as fast match grip as I am traditional. So it's really no faster for me.
Not faster, but less wear and tear on your wrist. That's what I was told.
Yeah, the carpal tunnel effects.
The carpal tunnel. You'll get match.
But I already cut my carpal tunnel. So, this one.
Yeah.
Hey, Bongo, you just got to use your left hand more. Bongo, you've been in the Mosquitoes, almost 3 decades now? Like
26 years.
26 years.
Yeah.
Like, what got you into percussion and getting the band going? Is that how it started? I know we've been doing the show
I can tell you the moment.
Let's go.
Tell you the moment it happened.
Put a log on the fire, Rhodesy. Let's go.
Put a log on the fire. How much time we got here? So this is the times. I always, just like Scott, just like Rhodesy, I was always kind of gravitated towards something that had a beat, a rhythm. That doesn't mean that I didn't like whatever, the Beatles or, more very basic drumming, but I always was drawn to it. And I remember there's a guy in high school, one of my friends, and he said, hey, I got a bunch of albums. My dad's getting rid of them. I don't want them. He brought a duffel bag for me, and he had all these 60s albums, Iron Butterfly and, just some really obscure shit that I didn't really know about a lot, but I was like, well, this is cool. And Santana's first album was in there. I remember putting that Santana album on, and I remember listening to it, and the groove and the rhythm and just listening to it, I was blown away. Now, that was the first moment. The second moment is when I went to Poplar Creek to see Santana for the first time, and I watched 3 hours of nonstop congas, timbales, solos. Every song had these long drum solos where there was interplay, call and response between the conga player and the drummer and the timbale dude, and I was blown away. I remember just wanting to hit everything, I was like, this is so fucking cool, it's like, and I fell in love with it. Now, I actually am a late bloomer because I played in a band in college for like one summer, and then didn't really do much. And then I started playing with Take Two as the percussion guy. And then I went and took lessons much later in life, although I was in a drum and bugle corps in 5th grade for about a year. So I had some formal training in the beginning, but went and took lessons, at late 90s, So, I mean, I was really late to the game, but always loved percussion. Hence the reason why, and Rhodesy knows, he's seen my basement, I've got 82 drums in my basement. And Scott would, he would be salivating if he came over because djembes and cajones and, doombacks and you name it. I mean, tempo blocks, all kinds of stuff, So that's how I got into it. The moment for me was that first Santana album, and then seeing him live that was it. I watched that and I said, I want to do what Amando Peraza's doing.
But I mean, you had your cousin. Like, how did that? Was it a family thing, or he eventually came in, or like?
Well, no. Take Two was they were a wedding band, and they
Okay.
were making a switch to play in more bars and stuff like that. And at the time, they were a 7-piece, and they just added me on percussion, and mostly because there was a couple Santana tunes. I mean, a lot of the stuff I did based on the music that they were covering was really, shakers and tambourines and stuff like that. So that was easy enough to pick up, as long as you have a sense of rhythm. I mean, that's not difficult, but I mean, that's kind of how I got started. So I did Take Two. I played with them for about 6-7 years, depending on the gig and if they had enough room for me on the stage. And somewhere in the middle of that happened with the Mosquitoes, where we started. Actually, to be honest, we would come to my house on Thursday nights, and I'd have a couple guys come by, and we'd, have a few sodas, and basically we'd play 3 hours of drums. And it was kind of stupid when you think about it. Like, I'd have to kick Gail out of the house. I'd have to say, Gail, maybe you want to go, do something for about 2 or 3 hours, so because you don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear it. And we would record it. We actually had I had a tape recorder. We were recording these things, and I go back and listen to them like, oh, that's really cool. Oh, that rhythm's cool. That one sucked, And eventually we brought in the rest of the guys, and we formed a band. But I did that like 2 years, 3 years before the Mosquitoes even started, And I'm not counting those years because we were sitting in a basement banging on drums.
Scott, a little housekeeping.
Make it sound like it's a problem.
Scott, some housekeeping. We got 2 drummers for hire here. We got Scott Muzzy, and we have Chris Rhodes. Scott, how do people get a hold of you? They say, you know what? I got a gig. I'm thinking about doing something. I want to be part of the REO Speedwagon band, OAF.
Well, no, actually, I got a website. I got a website, actually. It's scottmuzzy.com, actually, because I also know how to make websites too. So, nice. In fact, I make one for LauraWollenberg.com, which is, I put, you got, the Mosquitoes are on it, but so far I think there's like 90 bands on there. I'm trying to add new bands, but it's a hobby of mine. And so I do it all on my own. So it's kind of labor intensive, or it can be, because as much as I understand computers, I really don't like AI, so I don't like relying on it. So, but anyways, scottmuzzy.com to answer your question. Sorry.
Muzzy, right?
EY. Muzzey. Right. Weirdly enough, I'm actually one of the oldest families in this America, because there's been a Muzzy on this continent since 1633. So,
wow. Wow, you got it.
I know if you look at my name, you're going to go, no. But yeah, we're one of the oldest families here. So,
do you get like a card you get to carry around or anything? Or
no. But I'm kind of like Lieutenant Dan, because I have an ancestor that died at the Battle of Lexington, the first battle of the Revolutionary War. I had a great-great-grandfather that fought throughout the entire Civil War. I've had family members fighting in all conflicts, and because of my wrist, I couldn't get in.
So you think they were part of the drum corps, you think, going up to Gettysburg?
I would have tried out for the drum corps if I would have, but, like Mike mentioned that, he was a drum and bugle corps. Back in my day, they didn't have that. I was in the school band. They didn't have drum lines or any of that back then for us. If they did, it was on a different level, but not in high school. So,
Rhodesy, look, we haven't seen you for a while. Give us a little update. Tell us about your band. How do people find more about it? People want to get a hold of you?
Right now, not much is happening in the Tesla front. We have a show coming up in July. Okay. Like I said, unfortunately, we missed the booking season, trying to sort out members and things like that. But we're doing a fuck cancer benefit at Dirty Nelly's with our good friend Elise. We have a Heart band, a Led Zeppelin band, and I believe that Cherry Bomb, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago or a month ago.
Yeah.
They are also going to be sharing the stage with us and helping us raise money to fight cancer.
Outstanding. Send me all that info, Rhodesy. Bongo Mike, are you ready for the important?
And I got a list. For Scott. Big questions, Scott. Big questions. My first question for Scott is that a set of Octobans to your right?
It looks like some Toms.
Oh, it is Octobans.
Those are Octobans.
Yes.
Look at Bongo.
Hold on. I see your
Put your pants back on, Rosie.
Wait, Rosie got to put his pants on. But look, Rosie, Rosie's going to show you something. Look at that.
Now there's your Van Halen right there, buddy.
There you go.
And
he smoke a bowl out of there.
Mark Folks, right?
Yeah, Mark. Yeah.
So I bought some, I don't know, it was maybe a year ago or so. Alan Hannapel, is that how you say his name?
Alan, yeah.
Yeah, he was moving to Nashville, and I went over there to get a roto-tom, and in the corner was another set of roto-toms and 2 sets of Octobans, and I said, "What are you doing with those?" He goes, "I'll never be able to sell those," and I said, "Let's make a deal." So I ended up with some, I got some nice Octobans and another set of roto-toms. Not that I needed them.
Yeah, but Scott's, look at the Scott's look huge. Those look like the old school. How deep are those, Scott?
Yeah, no, these are the old school ones. I bought my Thomas set used, and it came with it. In fact, that's one of the reasons I bought it, because I always wanted Octobans. It's only 4 of them, so it's only the half the octave or whatever. But they're the old school original sizes. They don't make sizes anymore.
What? 16, 17, 18 inches, don't they?
I don't remember offhand. I don't remember the exact.
That's what I have. I got those sizes.
Yeah.
But awesome. They're not flashy. That looked like it had flames on it.
Well, it's because I got a fade on my drum kit, and whoever owned these before painted a fade on it to match the drum kit. So that's all.
Oh, okay.
It's just.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
it looked like it was flames. That's awesome.
Yeah. No. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I like fade finishes on drum kits, but anyways,
it's sharp looking. Yeah, I still have to clean those Octobans up though, because they were sitting. I mean, Alan really wasn't using them much, and it's got the old stands with the big clunky metal thing in the middle. Yeah,
that's what these are.
Yeah, I got the same ones. Anyway, I happened to notice them, so that was my first question. But now to the important questions. So the first question I have for you is, what was the first concert you went and saw? Who was it? Where was it? Give me a rough estimate of the year.
78 Foghat with,
nice.
I believe, Pat Travers backed them up at the International Amphitheater on Halstead.
Nice.
I wanted to go to a couple other concerts, but my mother wouldn't let me back then, So I wanted to go to Pieces of 8 tour. I was supposed to go to that one, couldn't see that one. But anyway, but that was my first concert. And then 2 weeks later, I think I got to go see Rush. Or maybe it was 6 weeks later or something. It was a Permanent Waves tour. That was the first concert that really burned into my memory, though. Rush, because, they all had long hair actually back then. So that was right before they cut their, well, at least not Getty, but that was before the other two cut their hair for moving pictures. So
yeah. Permanent Waves, that would have been 81?
It was 81.
Yeah, 81. So Foghat right before that. So Foghat was still sort of relevant back then, right? Late 70s, early 80s. They were still
when they come out with an album, Stone Blue, I think was the album they came out with. I think that was the tour.
Love that song. I love Stone Blue. That's a great one. Rhodes, do you know Stone Blue?
I don't, but I am a fan of Foghat.
Yeah, Foghat. I love those guys. Yeah, they're still out there doing
it. Are they really still touring? I mean, is there more than one member?
Just one. Just the drummer's the only guy.
Three Dog
Night. But the guitar
drummer or something like that.
The guitar player's been there for I think 30 years. He's the guy from Wild Cherry, and I think he played with Molly Hatchet too. But he's a great slide player. And then they got the guitarist singer from Ted Nugent. I'm blanking right now on the names, but those guys have been there a long time.
With Nugent,
what's his name?
He was on Scream Dream and Weekend Warriors. He came after Derek St. Holmes.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was after Derek. I'm blanking on the name, but those two players have been there a long time. But yeah,
that's unusual, Mike. You're usually really good with that.
I am good. If you give me, first of all, we haven't had anybody say Foghat was their first concert, but we've had International Amphitheater as the right. Did we have that one last week, Pete? Right? I think it was. I think Dan Milligan went to International.
I saw the Ringling Brothers there. Yes,
Ringling.
I saw a handful of concerts there too. It was actually a little boomy, but hey,
it was before my time. It closed by the time I was going to concerts. That wasn't even an option. It was already closed by then. So this next question I've been asking people and getting some interesting answers. And again, there's no right or wrong answer. worst concert you ever saw, or concert you were most disappointed after you saw them?
That would be Supertramp, and
Wow.
and I had fourth row too. It was like the closest I've ever been. It was in, what was it, Poplar Creek? No, not Poplar, Alpine. And I don't know why. I just didn't enjoy myself at that concert. I don't know why, because I love Supertramp. It's just, I don't know. Couldn't explain it, but that was probably the worst concert I've ever been to.
That's an interesting answer. I would have figured that one would have been like high up on the list because they didn't tour for, like wasn't a big touring band, and they went,
Right.
Obviously you saw them back in the day, but
Right. Yeah, because I think it was right before whoever the singer retired from them or whatever he did, or something like that. But it was right before that happened. So, yeah, I can't explain why. I never figured out why I never really cared for that concert, but it was just, that's the answer.
it happens. Hey, you know what? Everybody has one of those, I mean, and I shared it with Dan Milligan last week. One of the worst concerts I saw, and again, I know that they're a totally different band now, was Aerosmith. It just happened to be, I saw them after the Done with Mirrors. It was we're going to go out and tour because we need money. They were all coming off drugs or still on drugs, and it just sucked. It was like an hour and 20 minutes. They couldn't get off the stage fast enough. I had 12th row. I thought I was, shitting in high cotton, right? I mean, I was, right? I was like, I was so psyched for that concert, and I walked out of there so disappointed. And I never seen them again, but I know they've improved.
Hey, Pete, make sure that makes it into the set list, would you?
Shitting in high cotton.
Future Pete, that will be a clip. Continue, Bongo Mike.
Scott's got
I don't even know where you pulled that from, but I'm impressed.
What can I say? But Supertramp, we got it. Mark it down, Pete. We got a Foghat and a Pat Travers as the first.
Shitting in the high cotton, but with
Shitting in high
Supertramp.
cotton.
Future Pete shitting in the high cotton. Continue, Bongo Mike.
All right, last question. Last question, because our sponsor, we have one sponsor. And so we always ask the question, Scott Muzzy, Pop-Tarts, love them or hate them?
Oh, hate them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We got to go back, Pete, and figure out how many people have, because I have a feeling that we are
42. 42 love them, one hates.
That's not true. We've had some other people we've had people that loved them when they were a kid, but they don't want to eat them anymore because they're probably not healthy for you, right?
Yeah. Scott's just out.
Hey, I was deprived as a kid. What could I say?
Hey, you know what? There's no right or wrong answers here, man. It's just,
All right, Scott, favorite lunchroom food go-to at the school?
Probably the greasy pizza that you had to put napkins on top of to remove the grease. Yeah, probably that one.
That recipe.
Was yours square? Mine was square.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You can go to YouTube.
They made them in these big sheet pans too. It's like,
Great call, Scott, because that and the peanut butter cookie with the fork X's in it, classic grade school stuff. Bongo Mike, Scott Muzzy, Chris Rhodes, man. Memorial Day to you. Scott, this will come out in a couple weeks. Enjoy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Thanks for coming on, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Let's get them gigs, man.
Look forward to sharing the stage with you again sometime, Scott. You were a lot of fun to play along.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing the stage with you too. Even you, Pete, because even though you play bass,
there you go. Even though you play bass, you're welcome.
Root Note Pete, over and out. See you later, guys.
See you guys.